Hey there, crafty friends. Lisa here, your DIY diva. And if you've been looking for some fun and affordable ideas for decorating your front porch, you are in the right place. Today, I'm going to show you how easy it is to affordably decorate your front porch into a beautiful place for you to enjoy this fall. Now, what got me started on wanting to do this was I heard about something called a pumpkin concierge, and they will literally come out to your home and decorate with pumpkins. And I thought, this is kind of cool. I saw all of these pictures of these beautiful houses, and then basically the companies show you exactly what you're getting. And then I saw the price, $1,350. I was like, oh my gosh, that is way too much money. Yes, there are more affordable options, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to see if I can do something like this for my fall porch this year. And I thought it might be fun to share it with you in case you were looking for some affordable ways that you can dress up your front porch for fall. So the first thing I did was go shopping for some pumpkins. Pumpkins are a great addition to your fall porch because they're so affordable. I found lots of different pumpkins at lots of different stores, but Walmart had the best prices. I was able to find a couple of white ones. These were super pretty. And like I said, all of the pumpkins I bought were very affordable. I even found some pie pumpkins, and these are perfect because I can use them in recipes all during the fall season. I also found some tiny pumpkins too, and these were so pretty. I think they're a tiger stripe pumpkin. I don't know. They're almost like a gourd, but they're super pretty, and I thought these would be a great addition. And the one way to get the most out of your fall decorating is to use lots of different pumpkins. So I had some tiny ones. And then I also had a lot of fake pumpkins that I've collected over the years, and I thought these would be perfect to incorporate with my real pumpkins. Now, these are all of the real pumpkins I bought this year, and believe it or not, I didn't spend $1,300. No, I ended up spending about $65 for all of the pumpkins that I bought. Okay, so don't judge me. This is my front porch right now. And that's my adorable little dog, Mufasa. So this is the porch, and I need to take all of this stuff off of it in order to get ready for my decorating. So I do have these planters that are on either side of my front door, and I really like the plants, and honestly, I can't believe that they're still alive, but it hasn't frozen yet at our house. And even though I'm not going to be using these big flower pots for the decorating of my porch, I did want to save these flowers if I could. I would hate to just toss them out. Even though they're annuals, it's still nice enough that I can actually enjoy these plants. So I carefully removed both of these plants from the planters that they're in. And then I took them to a big pot that I have right in front of my garage. So I'm just going to take those plants and I'm going to replant them into this big pot. And because these are annuals, I'm not going to be able to enjoy them next year, but I figured I'd like to enjoy them for as long as I can. So by putting them into a different pot, I'm still going to be able to enjoy them until it freezes. I did add a little bit more soil, and I think my sweet potato vines in the front are going to be very grateful for that because they're looking a little bit sad. And once I added the new potting soil, then I did come back and give the entire pot a nice drink of water. So I ran the hose over it for a little bit just to make sure that the dirt was saturated and all of my plants would be hopefully happy. And And I actually took this video this morning. This is how the plant looks now. The sweet potato vines are so much happier, and I think the annuals in the back look pretty good too. So now that I got rid of the flowers, now it's time to take everything off of my front porch. So I removed all of the rugs and basically anything else that was left. And I find it's a lot easier to use a blower, like a leaf blower, rather than trying to sweep my front porch. I think you can see the trees in the background are kind of blowing around, so the leaf blower makes more sense. Now what I'm doing is filling up a big plastic container with water. And you might be wondering why. You can see the pumpkins all around it, but this is why. I was able to find these mums at Walmart. They are so beautiful and they were less than $20. So I bought 2 of them. So the first thing I did after I brought them home was put them into the tub of water. I left the mum in there for about 20 minutes so it could really soak up that water into the soil of the plant. And the mums came in these beautiful baskets. The baskets were included. The one thing that wasn't included was a little dish. So I did put a plastic shallow dish on the bottom, and that's how I'm going to water these plants. It's one way that I can make sure that I'm going to keep my mums alive for longer than a week. So now that I have that tub of water, what I'm going to do is use a little bit of dish soap and then probably about a cup of vinegar. And then I'm just going to mix all of it together. So this is going to be a bath for my pumpkins. I want to make my pumpkins last as long as possible, so I'm giving them a bath in this tub. This is one way you can help your pumpkins last longer if they're going to be outside and used as decorations. And once the pumpkins had some time to sit in that bath, then I did wipe them dry before putting them in place on my porch. Now, one thing I see that a lot of these pumpkin porch people use are hay bales or straw bales. And they charge like $25 to $35 for a bale of straw. But if you go to a feed store, you can usually find a bale of straw for around $5 to $7. So I got a couple of bales of straw that I can use for my decorating. Now, straw bales are pretty big, as you can see, and they do take up quite a bit of space. So if you have a small porch, you may want 1 bale of straw, or you could buy the decorator bales of straw at Hobby Lobby, but that's like $15 when it's on sale. But thankfully I have a big front porch, so I can use 2 bales of straw. You can see all of those little pieces coming off. That is another thing to consider if you're going to be decorating with straw. It is quite messy. I did add a couple of new rugs to my porch, a larger one for the bottom and then a smaller one that says "Welcome Pumpkin" for the top. And then I just started adding my pumpkins around the bale of straw. This is another reason why using something like a bale of straw is really helpful when you're decorating like this, because this is going to give you different levels on your porch. I've seen where people just put stuff on the ground, and while it looks pretty, you can't really see everything because it's all flat. But by adding this bale of straw, I'm actually able to elevate all of the pumpkins that I'm going to be using for my decorations. And because I have more fake pumpkins than real pumpkins, I just intermingled the fake ones with the real ones. And I started with the larger pumpkins before moving on to the smaller ones. So by starting with the large ones, those are going to be basically the focal point, and then I can add some medium pumpkins And then I can come back and add some smaller pumpkins. Now, one thing to keep in mind if you are going to be using real pumpkins like this for your decorating, if you want your pumpkins to last longer, you should have them lifted up off of the ground. Right now, you can see that my pumpkins are sitting on my porch, but to help keep them fresher longer, I'm actually going to use some fake flowers, and they will actually rest underneath the pumpkins, so that way my real pumpkins aren't directly on the ground. And once I was happy with most of my pumpkins, then I decided where I was going to put my mums. Now, mums do like to have about 6 hours of direct sunlight a day, so I probably will give this mum a little bit of time in the sun and then put him back in place. And sometimes it's a good idea to step back away from your display and see what you think. When you're looking at everything up close, especially when you're doing something with a lot of pumpkins like this, it might look pretty good. But if you take a step back, then you can see if there's any holes or any areas that you want to add anything extra. I had a few extra pumpkins left, so that's what I'm placing on top of the hay bale. Now I wanted to take a break from decorating, so I'm going to come back in my house and I wanted to share this with you. I'm going to make some pumpkin brownies. And actually, pumpkin brownies are very easy to make, especially if you start with a brownie mix. So that's what I decided to do. So the brownie mix is going to be the base of my brownies. So I'm going to start by melting a half a cup of margarine. Next, I'll add in the brownie mix. And then, just to make it a little extra chocolatey, I'm going to add in some chocolate chips. Once the butter cools down, you can add that in as well. And then just add 1 egg. And then you just mix everything together. Then I put my brownie batter into some cake pans. And then I made the pumpkin cheesecake portion of the recipe. So I took 8 ounces of cream cheese and about a cup of pumpkin puree. I added a half a cup of sugar and 1 egg, and then some vanilla. Then some pumpkin spice seasoning, and I mixed everything together. And after I had things mostly mixed together, then I came back with a whisk and whisked my batter. Then I took the pumpkin cheesecake mixture and put it on top of the brownies and just swirled things around a bit. By doing this, you get some chocolate and some pumpkin kind of intermingled all throughout the brownies. And then I just popped it in the oven, which I preheated to 350 degrees for about 55 minutes. And once the brownies had time to cool, then I could simply lift them out of the pan and cut them into squares. And now I have a nice treat for dessert tonight after I get done decorating my porch. I do have the full recipe down below in case you want to make these brownies for yourself, Like I said, they're super easy because the brownie mix is the main portion of the brownies. And with that, here is the final reveal of my fall porch this year. This turned out way better than I thought it would. I love all of the pumpkins, the real pumpkins, the fake pumpkins. Everything looks so nice together, and I even brought in my Dollar Tree tiered pumpkins that I made a couple of years ago. And I think the mums are a great addition too. I also put up a couple of wreaths on either side of my garage. And then I added some more fake flowers to the flower pots that I have. And I even added some fake flowers to our tiny wishing well. And the best part about this project is I spent less than $150. That is way more affordable than having someone come out and decorate my front porch for fall. I hope you had fun decorating and baking with me today. And if you love these ideas, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next creation. Remember, you can get a high-end look without spending a lot of money. Until next time, stay crafty.